Okay, so hear me out. Man of Steel might actually be better than Superman 2025.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Today we're diving into why Man of Steel might have actually been onto something this whole time. I know, blasphemy. But if you've been paying attention to the internet lately, there's been a bit of discourse brewing about what Superman should actually represent. Now, we all know the internet never agrees on anything. Like, people are still debating whether or not the earth is flat for some reason. Usually, though, one side of the argument clearly wins out against the other, and there is a general consensus. But that's not really happening here. Yes, Man of Steel and Henry Cavill's Superman in general got some heat. A lot of longtime Superman fans felt that the version missed the mark. Superman is supposed to be this Southern Belle sweetheart, warm, caring, and even a little goofy, and the vibe works well when contrasted with his grumpy, brooding best friend, Batman. So when Henry Cavill's Superman came off as dark and intense and more Injustice Superman than Boy Scout in a cape, it rubbed people off the wrong way. And that's why the pivot to David Cornswell's Superman was so well received. Fans were like, finally, this is the Superman that we remember. And you'd think that would be the end of it, right? Wrong!
You serious?
Apparently, a lot of people really like the darker take on Superman, and if you think about it, it makes sense. The whole evil Superman trope has been gaining traction for years now. We've got characters like Omni-Man, Homelander, and Brightburn, and the first two have become straight-up cultural icons. At first, I thought people were trolling, but no. There are people who genuinely believe Henry Cavill's Superman is more human of the two. The argument goes like this. David Cornsweet's Superman feels like a god pretending to be a man. He's holding back his power, downplaying it in ways that make him feel less threatening, almost like he's trying to help people forget what he really is. That's why when he gave his speech about being as human as everyone else, it didn't land for some folks. It felt less like a heartfelt confession and more like a tantrum. I mean, if you really do believe what you say you are, why do you have to proclaim it? Now contrast that with Henry Cavill's Superman. Gritty, brooding, and yeah, kinda depressing. But that's because he knows what he is. He knows he can never, ever truly be like us. And that self-awareness, that isolation, that weirdly makes him more human. He's not performing. If you're paying attention, he's not brooding 24/7 either. He laughs, he drinks, he falls in love. When he's feeling down, he calls his mom and talks through things like any of us would. And honestly, if you were seen as this guy who could at any moment snap and destroy the whole world, if you had to be so gentle with literally everything and everyone around you, constantly holding back, never able to feel anything fully without risking hurting someone, you probably wouldn't be smiling much either. Think Raven from Teen Titans. That kind of pressure weighs on a person. So what's my take? I know I'm supposed to be this unbiased reporter here, but screw it. Here's what I think. First of all, Superman is not Batman. Stop trying to make him Batman. Look, I get it. Batman has been this poster boy for good superhero movies for a while now. But god damn, I am tired of seeing this man's parents die every single movie. Let it go. People have gotten so used to Batman's grittiness and grounded vibes that when they see someone genuinely dorky, like Superman, they kind of cringe. So they are trying to make him more relatable. But here's the thing, DC is not Marvel. DC's whole philosophy with superheroes is gods among men. Their heroes are written to be admired. That's why they're often seen literally floating above everyone else. The powers come from unknowable sources, or they're just born with them. And that's the point. They're more idealistic symbols, not people. Now, if you want heroes who are people, that's Marvel's take. It's about relatable superheroes, characters who are like you and I. They usually get their powers later in life, and even when they are born with their powers, like the X-Men, these people are shunned and ridiculed and just outcast from the rest of society, and that struggle humanizes them. So all that's to say, Superman's not meant to be like us. He's meant to be admired as an ideal. He is the superior man. We all know we will never ever be like him. But that's what gives us something to strive for. That's why I think David Corenswet's Superman is a better representation of who Superman truly is, a symbol of hope. And one last thing, superhero stories have always been kinda dorky, and that's not a bad thing. They're big, bold, emotional, and sometimes really, really cheesy, but that's what gives them their charm. These days, superhero content has gone fully commercialized and mainstream, and somewhere along the line, we started to forget that comics aren't supposed to be super gritty and hyper realistic. But Hollywood keeps dialing them down, trying to make everything real and grounded, and honestly, that kind of misses the point. Comics are supposed to be fun, they're an escape. For the most part, they're closer to sci fi and high fantasy. Wild, colorful, and a little ridiculous. That's what makes them special. Anyway, if you disagree, drop a comment and let's debate about it. For now, this is me signing off. See you next time.